right, what's up guys? Today's gonna be an awesome video here at the shop, and I got some footage coming for this soon. I know you guys are wondering why there's an Evo in the background. Well, I got some big plans. I'm collaborating with Baderbuilt on this one, and this is his Evo, and we're gonna do some big things with this. So that's gonna be on a different video, but today we're gonna focus on something for me. So this is gonna be a special day. So cat's out of the bag, Scarlet's back. So I got her back from Fab this weekend, went to Spokane, picked her up and towed her back, and I can't wait to show you guys how it came out. So I'm gonna pull the Evo out, get the car out of the trailer, get it in the shop, and then I'm gonna show you guys what we're gonna do today. Yep, getting some E85 for her, and then see if she's gonna run today. Here she is. Well, as you can see, she looks a little different. She's got a parachute on her and a whole lot more. So I'm gonna get this thing unloaded, and then I'm gonna go over details exactly what I had done and how it came out, and show you guys what we got. All right, guys, got the car in the shop. So today, the goal for the car is, so the engine and everything hasn't been started in over a year. It's been sitting. The previous fabrication shop that I had dropped this off at, unfortunately, they didn't do what they were supposed to do. They didn't drain the fluids, they didn't drain the coolant and everything we agreed upon in the fuel. So they were supposed to pull the injectors out and whatnot. So I ended up having to pull in, get the injectors. He pulled them like a week before I went to go pick the car up and pull it out of there, but damage was already done. I sent them to FIC. They were seized and rusted, and the fuel system they said should be checked out because there was a lot of rust and debris from the E85 sitting in them so long, which is exactly what I was worried about. So the really crappy thing here is this motor's been sitting for a year without being started, and the ports that go into the engine for the injectors have been left open and not sealed. So we could have rust in there. You know, I don't even know if the motor's any good. So today what I'm gonna do is, I don't have a turbo on the car right now because I'm waiting for Precision to send me the turbo. And once the turbo comes back, I'll be able to actually run it properly. But for now, today, I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna try to get this thing to at least turn over and fire and see if this engine's any good. Because if the engine's no good, then there's no point in you know, going much further with it. And then I'll have to reassess the situation about racing it this year and what I'm gonna do. But yeah, so I'm going to basically I'm gonna have to pull the spark plugs out. I'm gonna re-prime the engine and make sure it has oil pressure before I try to fire it. I have to put the ECU in the car. I have to hook the fuel system back up, drop the injectors in. We got fresh E85 from Jay's garage this morning to put in it. And then we're gonna cross our fingers and we're gonna turn the key and see what happens. So hope you guys enjoy this video today. It's gonna be a good one. It's gonna be a little bit of an emotional video, but hopefully everything goes good and we can hear this thing fire up, and that'll be a huge relief. So I'm gonna get started. Basically the first thing I gotta do is I gotta pull the transmission back out of the car, because you guys saw in the other video, I put the sequential in it, but there was no clutch or anything. So it's just hanging in there so that Ranch Bill can make the hood dump exhaust and do all of what they had to do and get the angles on the engine right. So first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pull the transmission back out of it. We're gonna put the clutch in it, which I got a treat for you guys. You're gonna really like what's going in it. Then we're gonna put the transmission back in and finalize it, bolt it up to the engine the way it's supposed to be and get it all dialed. And then we'll move forward from there on the next step into getting it running. So here we go. All right, guys, got the transmission out. Now, just got to get the clutch in there, and then I'm really excited to reveal this. So, check out what I got for this thing. All right, guys, here's the clutch that's going in Scarlet. Oh yeah, that's right. OS guy can triple. Well, as you can see, very shiny. Let's see if I can get this beast out of here. Oh man, it's heavy. Okay. Well, there she is. So brand new OS Guy can triple. That's going to be going in the car. I used to run Exetti triple before, and I didn't have any real big issues with it. But when I did the sequential and I made the decision to go that route, I decided I would need a clutch that is a little better for slipping, because the new transmission that's going in here, I didn't really talk about it much, but this sequential that I had spec'd out by Caps, this has actually custom gear ratios in it. So it has a long ratio setup for first gear. First gear goes like 62 miles an hour. So in order to get off the line, I'm gonna have to be slipping the clutch quite a bit. So the Exettis, they do it, but they're not as tough as these. These are much better. So I decided to upgrade the clutch so I don't have any issues there, and paid a pretty penny for that sucker too. So these ain't cheap, and they come straight from Japan. I had to wait 2.5 months to get that clutch made. This was back last year. And yeah, so I'm really stoked to see how this clutch goes. It's got really good reviews in the racing community. I don't think anybody's ever had any issues with it. So I'm excited. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this taken apart, and then I'm gonna bolt this up on the engine and get it all put together. All right, I want to do a little bit of show you guys how this clutch looks inside. So that's the clutch cover right there. And if you look right here, oh man, it's a pretty serious clutch. So the spline hub on this clutch that I attached to the engine is a lot bigger than the Exetti, if you notice. This piece here is basically your engagement to all your clutch discs. But this thing is an absolute beast. I mean, it's just crazy how heavy duty this thing is. I mean, these intermediate plates are massive. Just look really good. I'm really excited to run this clutch. I've always wanted to run one, and it's gonna be, I'm just really stoked to finally get to actually run one of these. Discs are beautiful. And that spline hub is something else. Look at that. There is no way that's going to break. I've actually seen them break on the Exetti clutches, and you know, under really high horsepower applications. So definitely not going to be an issue with this clutch. Very high quality materials. All the frictions are very heavy duty, and they feel very well built. The basket is very sturdy. You can see this gigantic basket. Everything just looks like it's built way overkill, which is a very good thing. So I'm gonna go ahead and put a new pilot bearing in here and then get this bolted on the engine. All right, guys, got the flywheel installed, new pilot bearing. Torqued all these bolts down to spec, so they're all good to go. Now we can start stacking the clutch plates on in the reverse order that they came off, and then get the clutch plate torqued on, and the transmission can go in for the final time. All right, got the clutch cover all torqued down to spec. Everything's looking really good. You can go ahead and pull the alignment tool out, and well, it's in there a little bit. Oh, that sucker's really in there. Oh, I have to grab a tool to grab that thing. All right, as soon as I put the camera down, I was able to pull this out. I just had to not hold the camera and use two hands, and then it popped right out. So you can see everything looks good. We're in alignment. So now it's time to put the transmission back in this thing, hopefully for the final time. All right, guys, sequential transmission's in, hopefully for the final time. It's all bolted in, everything's good. I am gonna need to get a turnbuckle to go from the shifter to the transmission. That's pretty easy. But now I'm working back here, and I'm working on swapping the rear differential out, because this one is, this is an 08 plus rear diff, which the final drive is different. So this is a 354, I believe, yeah, 354 final drive, and the transmission is in 05 now. So it has a 390 final drive. So I need to swap the rear diff to a 390 final drive to make it work. So I've got a diff here ready to go for it. So I'm gonna pull this diff out, put the other one in, and then I'll be able to put the drive shaft in it and pretty much be all buttoned up. So I'm gonna swap this out. All right, got the rear diff in, axles are in, drive shaft, looks like it's coming together. Starting to look like a car again. So now that I've got all this stuff in, I'm gonna go up and we're gonna focus on the engine and see if we can get this thing making some noise. All right, so we're draining the oil. We're putting fresh oil in right now. And I'm working on the fuel injectors over here. So I've got my fuel rails laid out here, and got the 2150s from FIC. Gonna be throwing these in, got all new seals and O-rings on them. And gonna put the fuel system back together as much as I can and see if we can get this thing to start. So I have to put these in, and then make sure, check the oil. And I have a fuel line I need to figure out how to connect, and then I have to put the link ECU in it, and hopefully everything else should be pretty straightforward. So, all right, guys, we're getting close. I got the fuel rails back in and the injectors. Now I'm gonna go put the link in it and see if I can get the wiring hooked up. All right, well, I think I've got it ready. Got oil in it, ECU's hooked up, wiring's hooked up for the most part. I had to do some makeshift fuel lines to get this to work, because the firewall, I had a bulkhead for my fuel lines going through, so I made some temporary fuel lines right now. You can see here. This is definitely not ideal, but this is a temporary line going there to the hangar and the pumps and all that to run it. I just want to see if the motor's any good. There's no water in the motor either, so I'm not going to run it for very long. But first thing we're going to do is we're going to flip this switch on, make sure hopefully nothing burns down, and I hooked it up right. I mean, it's been a long time. It's been, you know, over a year since I've had this car apart, so let's see. Well, I got taillights. That's a good sign. Okay, I'm going to check. I'm going to prime for fuel pressure. Can you see if the fuel pressure, or is there the gauge on the front there? Or there isn't, is it? I just need to know if I have fuel pressure. It doesn't sound like it. I might not have. I might not have the lines correct on the hanger. I don't remember which pump is which. I don't remember which one was which. I might have the return in the one of the feeds backwards for what it sounds like, because I didn't hear any fuel pressure there. So I'm thinking I got these two backwards is what it is. So I just need to switch those real quick. I don't see any leaks. Everything looks good. Well, what do we do? We just give it a key and see what happens? I don't know what the transmission is going to do, so a little bit scary, but we have the wheels off the ground, so. All right, see what happens. What is that noise?
Something's wrong.
That doesn't sound right. It's pressurizing the tank. All right, first start. Start, but it turns over, that's good. I don't know if it's getting fuel or not. Doesn't sound like it, because it usually is flowing through the rails. Let me crack one of these to see. So what I can do is I can crack my return and see if I'm getting any fuel up here. No, nothing. Nope. No fuel to the motor, so that means I have the other lines backwards. Damn it. It's been so long since I put this car together.
That means she's gonna start.
Well, maybe. It's turning over, which is a good sign. It's not seized. I'll tighten that back up. Yeah, because like I said, usually when the fuel pump's running, you can hear it going and just circulating real hard. So that means these are backwards for sure, these two. Holy shit. First crank.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's a good sign that the motor runs, and I just got goosebumps. Like, holy cow. I don't even know what to say. I think it's meant to be. I think she wants to go. So, motor runs. It sounds great. I think tomorrow I'm going to just pull in all day and just start putting this car back together and do it all and get the water in it, get everything hooked up, and yeah, I think we're looking good to go race. So, all right, guys. Well, it was a long day. She runs, sounds good. So wait till the next video. Till next time, we'll see you later.